All right, traders, here we go with the watch list video for Friday, July 15th. The SPY gapped down today on the PPI numbers, but recovered nicely, just as it did yesterday on the CPI numbers, and recovered nicely. So it seems to have found support right above the 370 area. There's a pre-market, or not pre-market, there's a intraday, so you can kind of see the gap down, and then the slow climb all day. It was really kind of a slow summer day as far as volume went and opportunities. I got to show you this, though, this GOEV, which, by the way, is on watch for tomorrow because you had the gap up 2 days ago, sold off. Next thing you know, it was on our morning gap playlist today and had a pretty strong move. Took a screenshot here. You can see I took a screenshot of Nicholas's idea, and that was GOEV, basically over the early high, right? 390 is where it opened, sold off, back through 390. You've got red to green and an opening range breakout combination on a morning gapper that was also a recent high flyer. A lot of reasons to like that. And from the 390 area went all the way up to 5 at one point. A great post by Nicholas and another kind of testament to the great teamwork in the chat room. So what are we watching for? Let's see, for Friday. VERU. It's just a really strong stock. It's made a big move, so certainly due for a pullback. And ideally, I'd like to see it pull back, to the moving averages here. But sometimes, it's very close to a breakout, right? Sometimes you get 1 day rest and it goes again. So it's certainly going to be on a chart for me. Remember, I make my money between the bells. I'm in cash every night. So I'm trying to populate charts with stocks that may give me an intraday setup tomorrow, if that makes sense to you. EVGO, I believe they had news this morning. They were on our morning gap playlist too, although I never got involved in this one. I believe they had a deal with General Motors to put charging stations all across the country. I didn't read the details, but the market certainly liked it because it initially sold off and then went out near the high. Some, a nice volume today too. So we're looking for a follow-through day setup in that one if we can get one. GOEV, I already talked about this one. Certainly interesting over 5, but we'll see if it gives any other kind of long setups before that, if it does it at all. So we'll see. I got to zoom in for this one because when you have a massive drop from $80 to whatever it was, 15 that day, right? It scrunches all the subsequent days together until you get that big spike out of it. So I'm zooming in on this one. PETZ had a nice pop back here on June 23rd, topped out at 373. And then another volume spike yesterday, topped out at 364. And then today, kind of a quiet inside day, topped out at 328. So super interesting to me because you have tomorrow, on Friday, if it breaks today's high, you've got 1, 2 potential catalysts above. It's a lower float stock. It's definitely an in-play stock with the recent volume. So one of the more interesting setups for me tomorrow, but we'll see. It might not give any kind of setup at all. Let me pan out a little bit now. This SYM, I like the chart a lot, right? You had this 2-day run, chopping for a few days, and then curled back up today. I even mentioned it in chat that, the chart was interesting. I think I said it like in the middle of the day, but it had no volume at all. And I never got involved in it. But it's a little bit interesting in that it hit 1810 today. You look to the left and you say, hey, 1877 is also a recent high. Maybe tomorrow we open in the 1770 area, and I would probably get long through 18, knowing that we've got 1810 and 1877 stacked above as potential catalysts. But man, it's a low volume stock. All right, so be aware of that. Sometimes the spreads just get plumb stupid on it. So, and if that's the case, I won't trade it. DWAC had a nice spike 4 days ago that topped out at 3090, pulled back for a couple days, and then a nice pop today, topped out at 3073. So kind of a similar setup to PETZ, PETZ. Definitely keep my eyes on that one. I think there's a lot of shorts in this name too. CLNN. This one, my problem with it is it made such a big move today that it's extended. If you look at the chart, or any chart really, whenever you see like a high relative volume candle and a high range candle compared to most of the candles, rarely do you see another big one the next day, right? So you kind of want it to flag first. But with that almost 40 million traded, I am going to put it on a chart tomorrow. SIGA, very similar to that VERU in that it's very, it's trying to break out. And then today we put in kind of a quiet inside red day. So maybe it turns right back up tomorrow. SKYX, this one, very low volume again, not even 200,000 traded. today. But 4 days ago, it popped up to 333, and now 3 days in a row, it's come very close to $3, 299, 298, and 299, right? So maybe through 3 with some volume, maybe we'll make a run at this 333 and maybe get above that. Then I would call that 333 a potential catalyst for higher prices. It's not resistance because it's just one price point on the chart. Anyway, it's a thin one, right? So I doubt I'll trade it, but maybe we get that volume spike. PLRX, I mentioned this one in chat in the middle of the day, or I think it probably looked about like this because I was doing the lunchtime Q&A, and I said this one is interesting over the highs because you have yesterday's high not far away, and it's a recent high flyer, and it was on bounce watch, and then it did that, and I never got involved. Like, it did that while I was talking and looking at other stuff. That happened very quickly. Having said that, you know, you had the big pop somewhere in here, an offering 2 days lower, and now it's strong again. So I am going to put it on a chart. A couple pot stocks, TLRY. I guess maybe and I don't know when. I thought maybe it was today, but I don't know when the House is going to vote on legalizing pot, although they're saying it won't get through the Senate anyway. But as a trader, maybe that news, again, I don't know when the vote is, so you definitely want to look that up before you get involved. But TLRY, nice support below, and maybe it gets a follow-through day tomorrow. And I'm also going to put BGXX, which is another pot stock. And the reason I'm putting this one on is because, look, you couldn't see it because it was scrunched together, much like I mentioned in that other chart earlier. But, whoops, you had this big spike intraday when they all spiked, and then this one had kind of a strong move near the close. So that's one I've chosen to keep an eye on tomorrow, especially if the pot stocks move. AERC, I'm not in love with this one, but had a massive move from like $2 to almost 24 in a couple weeks, and then and then chopped around, and now it's kind of breaking to the downside. But it did bounce off this area back here, bounced off at 1025 today. It got down to 1044. It's very close to the 50-day, and it's down 4 days in a row. So maybe that's a bounce area tomorrow, but it's kind of out of the realm of recent high flyer now because this was the big move. And then it chopped around. Had a couple good moves here and here, but anyway, it just goes on bounce watch. And then a couple potential gappers tomorrow. PINS is Pinterest, which came out. Somebody took a stake, a 9% stake that was reported in after hours, and it's trading at 20.55 right now. So potential gapper tomorrow. We'll see how it holds up in the pre-market. And then TBLT is trading at $3.04 right now, so something maybe up there as well. I've babbled long enough. I'll see everybody in the chat room in the morning.